What's up, my sweethearts? What it do? I'm glad y'all back with your girl Jennifer M. the realist. My sweethearts, we gonna be doing some updates on these missing children, ones who was never found. Okay, we gonna give this justice a little spin. So now your girl Gray run y'all some justice of children who went missing, cold cases, and was never found. Get your lights all the way up with your girl. That beautiful sweetheart, my sweethearts, that was ASHA DEGREE. Okay? She was 9 years old. Lights is all the way up. Little baby ASHA DEGREE was 9. Asia Jaquilla DEGREE. Okay? Born August 5th, 1990. North Carolina, my sweethearts, lights is all the way up. Shelby, North Carolina. All right? We're going to give this justice a little twist, my sweethearts. And I'm going to bring y'all some justice so y'all can, I'm going to bring y'all more in depth, more of feeling. I'm going to bring y'all more in with me in one of how I read justice of what they find. I read justice of these kids, the ones they find, even if they murdered or alive. Now let me run this justice for y'all of the children that never gets found. The cold cases of these babies that's all their parents get, cold cases. They only remember what happened where the last time they seen them. All right, light this up. Let's run this thing like cardio, my sweetheart. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes, get in front of the tube, get what you need, and let's run it. All right, let's go. Asia, like I said, Jaquilla DEGREE, my sweetheart. I already told you when she was born. Went missing at the age of 9 years old from Shelby, North Carolina. In the early morning hours of February 14th, my sweethearts, yes, Valentine's Day of 2000. For reasons unknown, she packed her book bag, left her family home north of the city, and began walking along nearby North Carolina Highway 18, despite heavy rain and wind. See right there. Right there is suspicious, but I'm going to keep going. She packed her book bag, left her family home north of the city, and began walking along nearby, like I said, North Carolina Highway 18, despite heavy rain and wind. A 9-year-old? Oh, okay. Several passing motorists saw her. When one turned around at a point 1.3 miles 2.1 kilometer from her home and began to approach her, she left the roadside and ran into a wooded area. I would have approached her too. I sure would have. Let me see a baby walking along like that. In the morning, her parents discovered her absence. No one has seen her since. This is crazy. My sweethearts, an intensive search that began that day led to the location of some of her personal effects near where she was last seen. Excuse me. A year and a half later, her book bag, still packed, was unearthed from a construction site along Highway 18, north of Shelby and Morganton. At the point where she ran into the woods, a billboard now stands appealing for help finding her. Her family hosts an annual walk from their home to the billboard to draw attention to the case. While the circumstances of DEGREE's disappearance at first seemed to suggest she was running away from home, that's what I was about to say. I was about to say she packed the book bag, she walking on a highway, somebody approached her, she ran off and ran in the woods. I was going to say, well, she's a runaway or leaving for a friend or leaving for a boy that she talked to. So, yeah, I was about to say that too. Was she a runaway? Running away from home, yup. Investigators could not find a clear reason she might have done so. She was younger than most children who do. That's what I said. They have speculated that she might have been abducted instead. Yeah, okay, well, she got abducted, or the person asked her to come and travel to meet them. Cause that's really crazy. My 9-year-old, my sweetheart. That's really off. Like, how did she get out of there, like, without the parents? Now, I know they can get out windows and things like that, but the house, this is crazy. The case had drawn national media attention. In 2015, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, joined state and county authorities in reopened investigations, offering a reward. That's that's crazy. This is so, like, out of it, my sweethearts. You know, a 9-year-old, this is crazy. And they wonder why I got to stay with the lights are up. So let me give y'all some background of this, my sweethearts. Harold and Aquila Degree married on Valentine's Day in 1988. Their son O'Brien was born a year later. Asia was born in 1990, like I told y'all. The Degrees raised both children in their house on Oakcrest Drive in a residential subdivision amidst a general rural area north of Shelby, North Carolina. All right. On the western edge of the Charlotte metropolitan area, my sweethearts, both worked regular jobs nearby. The children let themselves in after school. I got a problem with a 9-year-old letting herself in. I'm just saying. Where their parents expected that they would either be doing their homework or finish with it by the time they returned. See, They made sure their children were insulated from outside influences and had a life centered around their extended family, church, and school. The Degrees did not have a computer in the house. Every time you turn on the TV, there was some pedophile who had lured somebody's child away via the internet. I like that, and I'm glad they did that. But see, it don't even matter, because look at the child. It's crazy. Aquila recalled in a 2013 Jet interview, my sweethearts, Aquila said Asia handled this well. She was cautious, shy, and content, mostly to stay within the limits her parents set. She was scared to death of Doug's, she recalled years later. I never thought she would go out of the house. Like that, like they prisoners. Asia was in 4th grade at nearby Falston Elementary School, going into a 3-day weekend on the 2nd week of February 2000. The Cleveland County schools were closed on Friday, February 11th. While the Degrees still had to work, the children spent the day at their aunt's house in the same neighborhood, from which they went to their youth basketball practices at their school. The following day, Asia basketball team, on which she was a star point guard, lost its first game of the season. Asian had fouled out. Her parents recalled that she was somewhat upset about this, crying along with her teammates afterwards, my sweetheart, but seemed to have gotten over it and watched her brother's game afterwards. I hope she did, because I hope ain't nobody that angry over no game to be disappearing like that, packing up book bags, walking on a highway, disappearing in the woods. These children. Let's get it, my sweethearts. On February 13th, my sweetheart, a Sunday, the children went to church from a relative's house and then returned home. Around 8 p.m. that night, both children went to bed in the room they shared. Almost an hour later, the power went out in the neighborhood after a nearby car accident. The power came back on at 12:30 a.m., at which time Harold checked on his children and saw both Asia and O'Brien asleep in their beds. He checked again shortly before he went to bed at 2:30. On February 14th, and again saw them both. So he goes to bed 2:30 in the morning, and on February 14th, he saw them in the bed. Okay. Shortly afterwards, O'Brien, then age 10, recalls hearing Asia's bed squeak. He did not further rouse himself, as he assumed she was merely changing positions in her sleep. Apparently, around this time, Asia got out of bed, taking a book bag she had previously packed with several sets of clothes and personal items, my sweetheart, and left the house. Between 3:45 and 4:15, a truck driver and a motorist saw her walking south along Highway 18, wearing a long sleeve white t-shirt and white pants, just north of its junction with Highway 180. They reported this to police after seeing a TV report about her disappearance. The motorist said that he turned his car around because he thought it was strange such a small child would be out by herself at that hour. That's what I'm saying. But then again, you got to watch this motorist and truck driver that caught this little girl walking out there by herself. Because see, now they can't find her. The motorist or the truck driver, just because they witnesses, that don't mean they couldn't have done it. That do not mean that. It mean that they was just like, dang, or they was startled to see a young baby underage like that outside. So that don't even really mean they're innocent just because they called 911. Let's get it, my sweetheart. Now, the motorist that turned his car around, he circled 3 times and saw Degree run into the woods by the roadside and disappear. I'd have ran in there after her. That's a baby. I mean, I would if you turning your car around, a baby, you know, 'cause she could be scared. You know what I'm saying? I'd do anything. As I ran in there to chase her, I'd have called the cops. 'Cause she a baby. How fast could she run faster than a motorist unless they was an old person? It was a rainy night. Look at that. And the witnesses said there was a storm raging when he saw her. That's just crazy, y'all. County Sheriff Dan Crawford said, "We're pretty sure it was her because the descriptions they gave are consistent with what we know she was wearing." He added that they also saw her at the same place, heading the same direction. Aquila awoke at 5:45 a.m. to get the children ready for school on the morning of February 14th, an important day since it was not on Valentine's Day, but also the Degree's wedding. Oh my goodness. Wedding anniversary, my sweetheart. Wedding anniversary. This involved drawing a bath for them because they had not been able to take one the night before due to the power outage. When she opened the children's room to awake them before their 6:30 alarm and called them to the bath, O'Brien was in his bed. Asia was not, and Aquila was unable to find her in the house or in the family cars. She told Harold she could not find their daughter. He suggested Asia might have gone over to his mother's house across the street. And look at that, y'all. The mom lived across the street. When Aquila called there, her sister-in-law said Asia was not there. That's when I went into panic mode. I heard a car next door. I put shoes on and ran outside. Aquila called her mother, who told her to call the police. Yes. Yes. After my child wasn't at the parent house, the sweetheart packed the bag. They didn't have a computer in the home. So like I said, I was thinking that she ran away. I would have thought that the little girl was running away. But let me tell y'all something, my sweetheart. It would have to be like a lot of abuse, something going on directly in there for a child to leave out in a storm. A kid ain't stupid, my sweetheart. Either you getting lured by a boy, your friends, somebody you trust. And I don't care who that somebody is, you know, adult or child, but it's got to be somebody you trust to go up a highway, running woods in a storm. A storm lights us up for real. And like the house is an okay home to live in. Your granny live right across the street. You in there with your parents. They checking on you so, it don't seem like they unfit. Checked on them twice. This let me know, like, these kids is too grown. If I find out nothing, no reason this little girl ran away and things like that, these kids is too grown. And this is ridiculous, because look who's suffering. This is the search, my sweethearts. By 6:40 a.m., the first police officers had arrived on the scene. Police dogs called to the scene could not pick up Asia's scent. That's why they should have been called soon as they seen them. Aquila went through the neighborhood calling Asia's name, which she said had awakened everyone. By 7 a.m. Friends, family, and neighbors canceled their plans for the day to assist police in searching the searching the vicinity, while the pastor of their church, along with other area clergymen, came to Degree's home to support them. I'll be excited too much, you all, to look and read, because I haven't read this either. Like, I'm really shocked. Real stuff. This don't make no sense. By day's end, all that had been found was a mitten, which Aquila Degree said did not belong to her daughter, noting that no winter clothing had been taken from the house. Local news coverage, my sweetheart, local news coverage prompted the two drivers who had seen Asia walking along the road early that morning, including the one whose attempt to approach her apparently prompted Asia to flee into the woods, to report the sightings to police. It's sad. On February 15th, candy wrappers were found in a shed at a nearby business along the highway, near where Asia had been seen running into the woods. Along with them were a pencil, marker, and Mickey Mouse shaped hair bow that were identified as belonging to her. It was the only trace of her found during the initial search. On February 16th, Aquila realized that Asia's bedroom was missing her favorite clothing, including a pair of blue jeans with a red stripe. A week later, my sweethearts, after 9,000 man-hours had been invested in a search of the 3 miles radius, this is sad, of where she had last been seen, flyers had been posted all over the area, and 300 leads had been submitted that ranged from possible